So hi all. So good afternoon. Once again, I welcome all HSE professional for this evening talk conducted by HSE Forum and NSC-Kerala chapter. And so last week we have conducted a talk on environmental side, that is on green building concept. So this week we have chosen some electric safety topics, that is around incident root cause analysis. So I request Charles to give the welcome address, and so that we can start the session.
Good afternoon all. I am really glad to welcome all of you to the monthly evening talk organized by NSC-Kerala chapter in association with HSE Forum. The topic selected for today's evening talk is incident root cause analysis. We all been part of incident investigation team. The quality of our investigation and recommendation we provide, whether the investigation repeats or not. Identifying the root cause of an incident in the complex system we are engaged in demands high level of competency, which include dedication, knowledge about the existing system, ability to approach the incident in various aspects, especially with an open mind. Even all the incidents are caused by unsafe act, as per H.W. Hendrich, we have to identify the cause by which made the people to do such unsafe act and suggest recommendation to eliminate such situation. The training enlightens our competency to identify the root cause of an incident. Today we have Mr. Arvind Aphid, DGM Group Safety Council, Mahindra Group, to share his knowledge. He completed his master's in engineering in industrial safety and associated with various corporates like Hyundai Motors, Tata Motors, JSW, and Mahindra Groups. He is a graduate member of Institution of Occupational Safety and Health, IOSH UK, and a lifetime member of National Safety Council. He is an incident investigator and a root cause failure analyst expert, and expert in implementation of structured contract safety management. He is a certified lead auditor for ISO 45001 and ISO 14001. We welcome you, sir, to this session, and over to sir.
Thank you, James, for a warm welcome. And I thank entire Kerala chapter for having this forum. So it's maybe the Kerala chapter is very visible across India. I would say globe. Maybe the activities are very well known. It's a very live chapter. Also, maybe keeping thanks for that. So now maybe I'll just get into my topic, which is given for me. So can I load the, with your permission, I'll just load my presentations.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Please share.
Yeah. So once again, warm welcome and good evening. So I represent Mahindra Group. Mahindra Group is many companies. One purpose. We operate out of 11 sectors, 100 plus countries and 22 industries across. And we have 250,000 employees in the group. So when I say 11 sectors, actually we operate out of automotive, aerospace, mobility services, agribusiness, farm equipments, financial services, hospitality, IT, and two-wheelers and real estate. So these are our core areas of our operations. So coming to our culture, it is driven by a set of enduring values, has always been our key differentiator. See, when it comes to safety at Mahindra, we have a group common policies and practices, and safety is part of our core value. It is embedded, and we do have a regular, maybe periodical, every year assessment on that for all our group companies. So maybe our It's part of our Mahindra branding guideline. So when our companies use our brand, Mahindra brand, we evaluate. Not only evaluate, it's a part of a system. We evaluate them and then assess them and then give the guidance of. So that's our core value. So coming to the topic today, it's about the instant investigation. I'll share our approach on how we investigate and how we deep dive on this area. So before we begin, actually, I would like to share a video. Maybe you can watch this, and then it's no audio is there. So we'll just watch this, and then we will have a discussion around this. The employee is standing at a height. Fell down. Did you observe something very important? The guy fell down from a height and he hit with a dustbin which was below. And since he fell on a dustbin, he just fell very close by. And other guy, he came, he just moved the dustbin away from that person. So now they are clueless actually what to do, and they are waiting for an assistance. And in this situation, maybe this is the we are now going to deep dive. How do we investigate such incidents? For example, when you come for this kind of an investigation, so you never know actually what hit him and where he got injuries. See, there is no matter whenever you fall from height, the head is the one which is going to come and hit you on ground. So here actually you have a multiple injuries. You will for a while, maybe later you will unfold the things, but for initial things, they may drag you to a different area. So it is good that actually you must have a very structured approach for an instant investigation to have very good root causes. So another one area which is a very concern area, I would say is maybe I would have reviewed a lot of investigation reports. This area is one which is neglected. Maybe the people don't focus on the root causes. That's the worry. So I will just share what we do on this area. So coming to Mahindra excellence, safety excellence. So we have a very clear safety excellence model. So we have in the model is called the Mahindra Safety Way. We have 25 process parameters and 8 result parameters in the process. And each process has got 5 levels of performances and equal weightage for all process and results. And there is a 10 stage of maturities. So in the instant investigation is part of that entire model. So when we go for our group companies, we expect all our group companies to be at a certain level of performance with respect to instant management system. And we also have a group standard on instant investigation. So that's about Mahindra. So coming to the why investigation, as I told you, we need to identify, we need to first actually prevent recurrence. The same kind of incident should never happen again in any the same area or in a factory. That's the main intent of it. I would say maybe across, if you're having a sharing and learning across, then the same kind of incident should never happen. And maybe it's a very area where you identify and implement the actions and communicate the lessons learned. And it also helps you to spot deficiency in the safety management system. So maybe a couple of days back, I had an opportunity to review one of the investigation. The team had focused on the particular incident. Maybe if there is an cut injury, the team was very focused on actually what is the why the cut injury happened and why, and then they have arrived and then they made that why the root cause for that cut injury. But that's not enough investigation. So you have an opportunity in investigation which will identify what are the process weaknesses. See, for example, if I have a heart attack, if I address only my heart functions and ask you to go out, then you may have another. I'm not seeing the underlying cause of the my incident or something. That I just cure surface level and then try to address one gap here. Another gap may occur in the different area. So I'm not trying to address the holistic view. So this particular process will identify where all it can go wrong in the next maybe 6 months or 1 year down the line, or in the long run. It can very clearly tell you. Next comes actually, it also demonstrates your commitment to safety. As an employee, as an employer, we vow to the God. That actually none of our employees should get hurt, or and their family should be always happy. So and when such incident happens, actually we should get into that and then try to find out actually why this happened in our place, and then demonstrate our commitment and ensure that it doesn't happen in any of our places again. So that's very important. Then promote an atmosphere of openness. I've seen in my organizations, actually, when you keep very genuine and healthy reporting system, not punishing somebody for an incident or somebody not maybe if you do that way and have an openness, people come report you, and then they also give you a lot of suggestions why this incident happened, and then what can we do to prevent this. A lot of dialogue happens when the atmosphere is open. So that's very important part for a healthy safety culture. So coming to at Mahindra, what it is as per my M&M incident management standard, line management owns the responsibility for investigation of all incidents. When I say 1 minute. So coming to the process we follow, this is the 8-step process. What we follow in Mahindra is an 8-step process. Right from make initial response report. Step 2 is form investigation team. Determine the facts, determine the key factors, determine the systems to be strengthened, recommend corrective and preventive actions, document and communicate the findings, and follow up. These are the 8 steps of Mahindra incident investigation process. Of this today, actually, what we are going to focus on is this 3. We'll be focusing in detail on determining the facts, determining the key factors, and determining the systems to be strengthened. These are the focus area for today's program. But however, actually, we will be touching upon all the 8 steps of incident investigation. So the step 1 is about the initial incident investigation. It's a responsibility of the line management to coordinate for emergency, preserve the incident scene and relevant evidences for investigation, report incident. Maybe we'll have to do one preliminary reporting. And safety of the personnel and the surrounding community is the first consideration. So this is very important. If you happen to see our the last video which I showed you, the incident scene is totally disturbed. It would be difficult for the investigator to find out the maybe for initial while actually it will be very difficult for him to arrive the track of incident. So now the step 2, is actually forming an investigation team. So here actually you need to select the team depending upon the type of incident and nature of expertise required. Team for investigation is determined. So for example, if you have an incident in electrical side, or if you have an incident in something, a boiler or something, you need to identify an expert in that area. And maybe you'll have to include a lot of other peoples as well. So, but some experts should be part of that investigation team. And responsibility, every investigation team member is assigned a responsibility by the pitfall on this. I mean, I've seen actually many companies forming a team. The pitfall on this area is actually not assigning the responsibility of an individual. So what I'm supposed to do, for example, if we form a 5-member team on investigation team, it's like actually whoever has a lead or whoever has an thing, actually he works out, he finds out, he burns his midnight oil and then comes out with something actually, and others only give suggestions or something. It should not be that way. it should be a very clear roles and responsibility has to be defined. For example, if an incident happens, so who will investigate, who will have an interviews with these people, and what are the information you will collect, and everything has to be assigned by the leader of the investigation. That's very important. Again, actually, you should also define a scope and timeline. Determine the scope and timeline for an investigation. Maybe at Mahindra, if you look at actually any non-reportable or reportable accident, within a week's time, actually, it has to be reported, and then the recommendations should come up. And if it is in a fatality or something, it is we give the time of about 21 days to come out with an complete investigation. And if it is in a first aid case or something, actually we say it should be investigated within 2 days of time with the line managers. So that's how we have defined the timelines. And even actually, if you look at the responsibilities, we have defined actually by if it is a 2-member team, what is the responsibility? If it is a 5-member team, what is the responsibility? We have very clearly defined in our procedures. Then comes actually the step 3. That is very important factor, which we will be going in detail. Determining the information facts, actually, that's gathering the information. It's very important. The main purpose of gathering information is to establish the facts that describes the sequence of events that occurred before, during, and after the incident. That's very important. So this is a very important one. Clear and complete information enables the investigators to recreate the event with accuracy and understand what happened. So first, actually, it is nowadays actually you have a lot of CCTV cameras across the plant. So this particular step becomes very easier. But sometimes some areas where you do not have any kind of this kind of CCTV, then you'll have to all rely on certain process. Even in CCTV cameras, actually, we need to rely on these factors. So whenever you come to this step, actually, you need to collect these evidences. You need to collect the physical evidences. Then you'll have to collect the human evidences and system-related evidences. We will see one by one what is physical and human and system-related. So when I say physical evidences, you visit the site and perform a walkthrough. Don't disturb anything. Identify the physical facts, collect samples, make maps, sketches, or take photos as needed. So you will know actually the photo. It's very simple. You would have seen in a lot of movies kind of when a crime scene happens. Actually, the guy comes up and then draws lines, and this is actually it's a structured approach. The same thing need to be followed in industries wherein to get in a very right root cause. And whatever need to be tested and analysis, actually, you'll have to pick the things and then do a either you might decide actually NDT or destructive tests at the laboratories. So you need to sequence them actually. When do we do the tests? That's very important. You can take a videos and all those things, photographs, and then save it and then release the site for the operation. So that's the physical evidence collection. Next comes the human evidences. In the entire evidence collection, this part is very crucial. Actually, people are usually the best source of information, but almost unreliable source of information. For example, if I have to take my example on this case, you will also get good information from an maybe a victim or a person who's around them. At the same time, you will also get a misguiding information. They will. So you need to have a very structured approach to get the what you want, and is that you need to adapt a verification process on whatever they say. So that's very important. So that is how you succeed on this human evidences. And data about an incident can be obtained from involved personnel. See, for example, if I see a statue from front side, I will say something. If I see on sides, I will say something. So my position and then the location makes me to gives an opportunity for me to observe different angle of the scene. So you need to pick up those people who are in the surroundings and who are part of this incident, and then try to plan for an interview. So when you plan for a witness interview, you should very clearly sequence the interview. Whom you will interview first, and what is the sequence you will follow. So that's very important. And interviews, okay, now actually you have finalized that actually you will do a sequence of interviews. So interviews are not about asking why it happened, it is about what it happened. So that's very important. Data collected through interview shall be analyzed to find the why. See, when before your interview, your physical evidences, whatever the information you collected, you must have some facts about it. So that can be maybe you can observe, you can interact and then understand from the people. Depending on the nature of the accident, witness can be under great emotional stress. Memory can fade or even be flawed. So using a right interview technique matters. See, many times actually we don't remember what shirt we wore maybe on last 25th or last Diwali, or maybe we don't remember, or even we don't remember last yesterday night or day before yesterday night what I ate. So maybe the memory fades. That may well, the longer you take for an interview, the memory fades for the people. So it's very important that you do these interviews very as quickly as possible. And it is also matters that actually you follow certain techniques to arrive the kind of maybe help them to recall the incident. So interview the witness as soon as possible after the incident. Interview witness alone, not in a group. That's very important. I've seen many people, or many times actually, even I've done the mistake several times. When an incident happens, actually we go, we stand, and maybe 3-4 people stand. We ask the victim or witness to stand in the mid actually, and then ask him what happened. So that's totally an what do you call it? It's not an acceptable practice. So maybe that's a way to do that. So coming to the other, how do we do it? We have said actually it's very important. Then how do we do it? So first you need to do it human evidence collection by interviews, that you must decide the following. It may look very simple, but plays a very vital role. Say whatever I say is very small things. Actually, it is very small thing actually. So but actually it plays a very important role in arriving the root cause. So decide on who will interview whom. For example, you have 10 people. And you'll have to decide among your team that actually who will interview which person. So that's very important. So always actually an interviewer needs to be a knowledgeable guy and who has an idea about the process, people and all. So you'll have to select the right guy for an interview. That's very important. Next comes the location where you will have a dialogue with this guy. So that's very important. And witness, my suggestion would be call him on a conference room, have a one-to-one, make him sit very close by you, given a warmness, give maybe just interact with him, understand his background, and then slowly you'll have to start into that area. So the next point is actually on the witness. Who are the people involved? Maybe initially you can select actually the person who was present at the site. That is the first information. Second, actually, we may ask, for example, if an incident happens in an during a maintenance job, so you will call the guys who are at present in that site. So that will be the people who will interview. And then comes the department heads. Then comes the experts in the plant, or maybe if you would like to get an opinion from outside, you can get it. Then you'll also sequence, I told you. Then topics and questions. This is very important. So don't go blank and then try to frame your questions based upon his answers. Be prepared, and you'll have to prepare actually what you want. What is the output you expect from output? I'm not saying actually don't prejudge, but have an agenda. Yes, these are the clarities I need to get from him. That is very important. So when I say clarity, it doesn't mean that actually what you're trying to get, whatever in your mind. You should also go blank-minded and try to observe whatever he says and then form a scenario within your mind. That's very important. Then comes actually documentation and recording the information. That's very important. You can ask them whether you can maybe before interview. Actually, you should ask them actually whether you can tape or his interview or write some notes on his interview. You can ask him, or however is comfortable. You can take that. So maybe very recently I was part of an investigation. I asked the guy, is it okay if I record your statement? He said very clearly, sorry sir, if you record, then I may not come out with an facts. So it sometimes actually you record, sometimes you don't record, but the intention is to get the root cause. So next comes the type of interview. There are two types of interviews generally. One is actually a standard interview. The other is an cognitive interview. When I say standard interview, it is a usual interview which you give, which you would have seen. It's maybe most of us are used to that. Witnesses are bombarded with brief questions to elicit facts. Witnesses are frequently interrupted, which can break the concentration. Mostly close. It's a more often a prejudged mind. You come out with actually, yes, you are the thief, I will catch you, a kind of attitude. So that's called a standard interview. The answers are maybe there actually you play in a very bossy role, and then the guy who's sitting before you plays in a very submissive role. So that's the now in that case actually you will get usually a very short answers, yes, no. That's what you get. Then comes actually the interview technique does not maximize recall. So the interview techniques does not maximize recall in the sense with this particular incident, the guys will not be able to recall what is the maybe the memory fades. That's what we discussed earlier. So coming to the cognitive interview, this is one of the best techniques which we can adapt for interview. It encourages the witness to recreate the original context using an open questions based on idea that there are many retrieval paths to each memory. So this is actually you are trying to what do you call make him recall the faded memory. That's very important. This technique helps you. We will see in detail how it helps you. And retrieval cues improve memory recall, and interview technique should maximize the amount of recall detail, and witness is given time to recall. See, if you look at actually currently actually most of the Western world actually are using the even the police are now using the cognitive interview techniques to get the right information from the victims or witnesses. So how do we do the cognitive interview? This is the cognitive interview. So first ask them to report whatever they know. So ask them actually give them a free hand, ask about the incident. Don't say you should not intervene. Maybe what time you came there, or you should not ask such questions. What happened after this? These are answers. Actually, these are questions actually which will lead to an yes or no, open and closed questions. You should also always ask an open-ended questions. Allow him to speak up. Give him all the information he knows on that. It may be relevant, not relevant. That's different. But try make him actually to share whatever he knows about that. So that's very important. He gives a very whatever the information is, a chunk of data he gives you. Then what you do is actually try to do a changed perspective. Changed perspective means actually what you do, you try to make him to think from a different standpoint. For example, if there is an location, you ask him to think actually, just imagine and then share his views. What would have happened if you see this incident from this point of view? So he shares some of his data. So in the time actually, he will also maybe correct himself on whatever he had reported earlier. The next thing is actually you do a reverse order. Reverse order is something actually you would have asked him actually since morning what you did, like right. So since morning actually what you did actually you would have narrated actually and then shared you information and everything. The first step. So next actually when this step actually what you should ask is actually reverse. How the start from taking the victim to a hospital and go backwards. So this will also give you making him to realize, rethink what happened on that particular time of incident. That's very important. Then ask him to mentally visualize himself back in the setting of the incident and try to maybe now it is a time to sketch based upon the all information available and trying to recreate that entire incident. So this particular process helps in recreating the entire process. So very important. We are coming to the end of interviews. Very important things to note on the interviews is actually please listen. Listening is very important. Whenever the person tells you something, you'll have to empathize and listen to the person. Very important. And empathizing is very important. If you do not give reactions to his whatever he says, he may not connect with you. Generally ask general questions and then specific questions. Don't jump directly on the specific questions, and be positive. Encourage the person to disclose informations. Allow enough time. Don't be in a hurry to get the informations. So then don'ts. There are some don'ts. Don't prejudge. It's very important. Many people have a habit of prejudging. Yes, I am 20 years experience. I have seen so much of incidents. So I know how this would have happened. I've heard this many times. So that doesn't. Every incident is unique. Every incident is telling you something, and it is giving you some maybe a first aid or maybe anything. It is giving you some indications that actually some major thing is going to happen. That's very important. Don't prejudge. Experience doesn't count here. Then comes blame. Trying to blame the injured person. Many times I've seen reports saying that actually training need to be given or punishment for the person who got injured. Those kind of blames is not going to give you, not going to avoid the recurrence. For example, I always believe in one thing actually, when your root cause is on the systemic level, it is going to sustain. If you blame a person or fix a person for an incident, the incident is going to recreate, because actually the guy who you blamed actually is going to walk out of the institute, and then a new guy is going to replace his role. The guy who comes new, it's based on his experience or his knowledge. So again, the same incident potential is always there. So blame doesn't help. Next, interrogate. Do not interrogate during the investigation. It is not. It doesn't help. Start with specific. Don't start with the specific questions. When I say actually specific questions, for example, if the incident happened at 3:30 in the afternoon, what happened at 3:25? Tell me. Instead, that actually talk general. Actually, you just ask him actually from 8 o'clock what he did and what all. Listen to him actually. What all, where he went. What are the extra jobs have assigned to him. What his supervisor said. So so much of information is available. So try to hear those informations. Next comes do not interrupt. Whenever he says in a narration, actually do not interrupt him, and maybe don't get impatient. If you many times where the impatience comes actually if you do not if the guy is not sharing you what you wanted, then you get impatient. So don't get impatient. Don't go on maybe don't have some kind of prejudgment and then expect the answers from him. That doesn't help. Next, coming to the system-related evidences, we have seen actually the human factors. Then we have seen the physical factors evidences collection, and then we are now coming to the system-related evidences. So here is where you collect the system-related ones, relevant background of the machines, technical information associated with the machines, a process or a facility, what is a normal operating procedure, maintenance procedures, HIRAS, and then maybe what is the process, maybe permit to what is the permit to work system, what is the safety management system, what is the training systems, maybe what is the maintenance protocol, do you have JHS, all those information. These are some of the system related evidences. Please collect those evidences. So now you've got all the three evidences. So now I have a case study for you. So let me read that case study. It's very it's an incident. I will narrate this incident, then we will get into the details. So it was 9 a.m. Mrs. Mary was frying vegetable at kitchen. Telephone rang and she went to living room to pick up the call. After 6 minutes, the smoke detector near the kitchen started buzzing. She ran into the kitchen and found a fire on the stove. Mrs. Mary picked up the fire extinguisher and pulled the plug. Nothing happened. The fire extinguisher was not charged. In desperation, she threw water on fire. Fire spreads through the kitchen. She called the fire department, but the kitchen was destroyed. The fire department arrived in time to save the rest of the house. So if this is the case, maybe if you are a safety guy or if you are an operations guy, the information what you get is actually there is a fire in the kitchen at Mary's house. This is the 2-3 sentence actually the thing which you will get. So based upon that, maybe you cannot arrive at root cause. You need to understand in detail to find out what is the root cause. For that, actually, the first thing is actually you have to collect the physical facts, then system-related evidences, and the human factors. So when this particular case ke liye, so this would be the physical evidences. Maybe we visit the Mary's house. What kind of a stove he was using. We physically see that and understand. And where the phone was located, which was it close by the kitchen or away from the kitchen? What is the distance between the kitchen and the phone? That you understand. And when did the call came? At what time the call came? And when did the fire detection system activated? And why the fire extinguisher was empty? And maybe was it empty? That is again, if you see that and understand. then water spillages on the floor and around the stove. So you just gather so much of information which is there on your eyes, pick up those informations, and then put it in a record. So then actually on this case, actually human evidences, if I were to investigate, I will investigate Mary first. Then I will try to talk to the fire brigade. Then I will talk to the stove maintenance team, fire extinguisher maintenance team, flat design team, and other witnesses, if any. So these are the evidences, but the sequence matters a lot. So whom I will investigate? I may start with a fire brigade or with Mary. So these are the two starting points for me. So next would be maybe I would ask the other guys. It's based on the incident. I will try to frame a sequence and then plan the interviews. Next comes the system-related evidences. I will try to ask for the training records of Mrs. Mary, risk assessment of the activity, emergency response plan, fire extinguisher maintenance records, stove maintenance records, fire brigade logbooks, technical background of the stove, and all those details. These are some of the system-related evidences which we will collect for the that particular case study. So let us park this case study as it is, and we will often refer to this case study again and again. So now that's we have now have a good amount of data. We have a good amount of data. Now actually we should put all the information which are available and try to recreate the incident. Maybe how we create the incident is actually we'll just put it on a chronology. We will try to put out actually maybe initially if the camera is not available or if some timing is not known, then all the collected information helps us to put the entire incident in a chronology. So this is how chronology is. Actually, for example, 9 a.m. Mary starts cooking. Mary leaves the kitchen by 9:05 p.m. The fire starts at 9:15 a.m. and smoke alarm sounds by 9:16 a.m. 9:16 a.m. the kitchen Mary enters the kitchen. 9:17 Mary uses a fire extinguisher. 9:18 a.m. Mary extinguisher fails. 9:19 Mary throws water on fire. 9:20 the fire spreads. Mary calls fire brigade. 25 the brigade comes. Brigade arrives. And 27 fire brigade puts out the fire. This is the total scenario. So you can also elaborate Mary what he did from before the incident, after the incident. All those things can be recorded. So now it's time. This is step 4. It is time to determine the key factors. After funneling out the facts and determine the key factors, you'll have to now determine the key factors. Like I'll tell you how to find the key factors. Key factors are the circumstances that may have a contributor to an incident. You would have, everybody knows a domino. If this event could not have occurred, the entire incident could have been prevented. You should look for that kind of an event and then try to identify in the entire chronology. Once you have identified the possible factors and initial questions, it's time to use the root cause analysis to identify and confirm the key factors. The RCFA process identifies the cause of failures at the equipment, human system levels, and puts in a place for corrective measures to eliminate the resulting as improved and sustainable performance. So now we will be using an RCFA technique to identify the things. So when it comes to our root cause failure analysis, you will get actually these are the facts. These are the main areas you will get. Actually, one is actually you will get for any incident. You will have an immediate cause, you will have an underlying cause and a root cause. All three causes are as good as important. Maybe many times actually what I observe is actually people end up with an immediate cause and underlying with an underlying cause, not arriving the root cause. That causes an recurrence of those incidents. So coming to the same case study again. So you have an the chronology. Now it's time to find out the key facts actually. Maybe if this particular incident would not have happened, the entire fire could have been avoided. We need to identify those things. If I'll have to identify those things, and one would be fire starts. If the fire has not started, then the entire incident would not have happened. This is a direct cause. Next, actually, you have some of the underlying causes. Mary, if she would not have left the kitchen, even then the fire would have started. She would have tried to put out with his waste cloth or something. So the fire could not have been that big. Then comes actually the fire extinguisher. If the fire extinguisher would have operated, then also this incident could have been the severity of the incident could have been reduced to a great extent. Then comes actually Mary throws water on fire. So if the Mary did not have thrown water on the fire, then the fire spread would have been avoided. So that is the these are some of the underlying causes. So now actually I told you about the dominus 3. We have picked up actually what are the very key factors, and it's time for us to ask actually the why on this key facts. So for example, maybe these are the key facts which you have identified. The same, the last slide I indicated, the same key facts. So now it's time to go for a key facts identification. So go for first. Let us take actually Mary leaves the kitchen. Why she leaves the kitchen? Going to living room to pick up a phone call. Why she goes there? Parallel connection not available at kitchen. Could be maybe I'm just this is a vague guess. Maybe just for understanding, I've made some very simple steps. So then actually why parallel connection not available? Hazard not predicted at the time of commissioning. Maybe your mobile phone was not that there at that time, or you don't have a hazard prediction at that point of time. So that's the reason actually Mary has to leave kitchen for picking up a phone call. So this is one personal factor we have identified. And there is a there is a system factor also we have identified. So in this why we have picked up one personal factor and one system factors. Next comes fire starts. Let us see fire starts. Fire starts. There is an oil in the aluminum pan got fire. So why the fire starts? There was an aluminum pan with an oil that got fire. Why that got fire? There are two end conditions to that. There was a hole in the aluminum pan and there was a burner fire from the burner. So the fire from the burner you don't have a control, but hole in the pan you have a control. So try probing that further. So maybe there also fire from the burner is also one maybe. Let's see that actually in a later part. So hole, why hole? Arcing hits up the bottom of the pan. Why arcing? Then there's an electrical short circuit. Why electrical short circuit? Periodical maintenance of the system not in place. So that could be one reason for short circuit, or inspection system not functioning well. So these are some of the system factors which you could get from this particular why. And personal physical factors could be an aluminum pan issue. Next comes the fire extinguisher fails. Why the fire extinguisher fails? Fire extinguisher fails. Fire extinguisher not charged. Why it is not charged? Used for a training program, not sent for a refilling after a program. That's again a system factor. Next comes, let us take fire spreads. So fire spreads, why the fire spreads? Mary throws water on fire. That's the reason for fire spreads. Why Mary throws water on fire? There is an and condition to this. You have a lack of knowledge on fire. That's the reason she threw a water. And in panic, she threw a water. That's an and condition. So, and lack of knowledge when we investigate whether Mary was trained, why there is a lack of knowledge. Mary was not trained on firefighting. So it's again a system factor. So, and human factor is again lack of knowledge is a human factor. So that is the total key factors, and it's why. So now we know actually what are the systems to be strengthened. So if you look at actually physical facts, parallel connection not available, mobile not available, hole in aluminum pan, short circuit. These are some of the physical facts we found in the root cause. Some of the human facts we found is actually lack of knowledge about firefighting, or she was in panic. That's the human facts. And we found a lot of system related facts. Management of change, pre-startup reviews were not there. Why it was not there? If it would have been there, somebody would have told actually need a parallel connection or something. Maybe training, Mary was not trained. Periodical checking of fire extinguisher was an lack no. Periodical checking of stove was an lack no. Risk assessment was an lack no. And periodical audits is an if that would have been there, actually the electrical stove and then fire extinguisher would have been addressed. So this way actually you identify all the physical facts, human facts, and system facts. So now coming to the step 5. Step 5 is very important. Again, it is determining the systems to be strengthened. Now actually conclusions are significant deductions derived from the investigations and analytical results. So we know what are the key factors and why the key factors had occurred, that we know. Okay, so that is very clear. Organize the conclusions sequentially and preferably in a chronological order or in a logical set. Link conclusions to the operating systems. So that's what you need to do in the determining the sense. So when it comes to Mahindra, as I told you, we have an assessment process that is called 25 parameters we have. Whenever an incident happens, actually, we try to identify which system has failed. We try to plot it. For example, the same case, if you ask me, the case study, if you ask me, so we will maybe look at these are the you find the root causes here. You find the physical facts, human facts, and system facts. So, for example, legal requirement, it is again boiling down to an extinguisher maintenance and all those stuff. Legal requirement is weakness. Employee involvement and competency development, that's an again area of scope, I think. Then BBS, that's we call it as we have observation systems. The team who has done the observation in that area could have missed out that extinguisher, and then the interaction with maybe understanding why she has not been trained, all those stuffs. Then the management system, SOPs or something, and risk assessment, management of change, and fire and emergency management. These are the system gaps which we pick up on based upon the case study. So now we will try to find an what do you call action planning for this area. Now coming to step 6, we will work on the corrective action and preventive actions. You all know actually we'll be following a hierarchy of control, elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, PPE, all those things. So consider impact of COPPA to the organization. COPPA shall address actions, accountability, and timeline. That's what we look at. So it's very important to have COPPA for all instances. Then once your COPPA is ready, now actually document and communicate all employees and contractors, share the learning point. Good to avoid person and location details. May do not include name or location details. We normally avoid. We just say that this incident happened and then this is what the learning out of this incident. The intention is not to shame anybody. The intention is to learn from what has happened. That's one. And use several forums for communications. We use several forums for communications through emails and our morning DW. We have daily work management meetings. There we discuss on this. We release newsletters. Again, the newsletters talks about like this various forums where we keep communicating about this incident so that people get an awareness on this. So step 8 is about ensure all recommendations receive prompt attention. Yeah, written management approval is required whenever any recommendations will not be followed. For example, yeah, if the team decides to not to follow something, you need to get a management decision. A leader of that plant or senior leader should sign off that why it is not required. Each recommendation is tracked to completion. The process should include provide periodical status of action of all items to the management. Management needs to inject sense of urgency and accountability, especially when action plan do not meet the timelines. Review the effectiveness of action items periodically, maybe once in a week, or it depends upon the nature of injury and then things. So that's the entire 8 steps of Mahindra. So if you ask me, actually, we still have a long way to go, but we are so far from where we used to be, and we are proud of that. Our journey of safety excellence continues. So that's about the incident investigation standard. So if you have any questions or anything, please shoot us. So we'll be happy to answer your queries.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So it was a wonderful session. And if there is any question, please give us on the chat box. And there are a few questions which has been raised, whether we are involving any workers' participation during this.
I'll answer one by one.
Yeah.
I'll just come to the questions actually. Do ensure workman participation. Do we ensure workman participation in the incident investigation team? See, it depends on every incident. It depends upon the team. Depends upon the team leader, whoever the management assigns. He decides the team. If maybe for that particular incident, if worker involvement will give a result, then what's the matter in including them? You can include no matter. if the investigation is done at the earliest, chances of accurate feedback are more. Yes, I do agree. Oh, sorry, I was too fast. Chandrasekhar ji, what is your question? Will the investigation team have at least one person who is independent of the process? Okay, maybe I'll just I understood actually. See, believe in the line manager.
Okay.
It is his area. Maybe give him that confidence. Whatever he reports, maybe you can have a quality checker. Maybe you can check the quality of the investigation, or you can comment on the quality. But leave the things. We always talk about actually line management is accountable, but you should not intervene and then put some monitoring mechanism whether he's doing a real investigation. That's not required. Believe him, he will do a good job. Encourage him for that. Yeah, mental health is also affected, but try to see that actually a logical end. Do you have an actionable item of there? Maybe whenever you ask in a why, always try to end up at a where you have a boundary. Don't go beyond your boundaries. If you do not have an scope there, actually that why doesn't help there. So many of you asked for this PPT. I will share it across. No issues. It's not something actually. It's available all across. I will share the report presentation with the NSC team. Any questions? Vinod?
Yes, sir. So I think there is no questions thereafter. So if there is no questions, so we can wind up this session.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Arvind Aphid, so for sharing your wonderful experience and knowledge on this incident root cause analysis. And really, it was a very good and a very wonderful section where we came to know about that incident investigation should be done in a structured way, and you shared the Mahendra's way, that is it's a process how you are carrying out the investigation and making the line management responsible for doing this investigation and collection of the information and facts, that is physical facts, human facts, and system facts, and based on which you will be analyzing the causes, that is immediate cause, underlying cause, and root cause, and all. And so it was a good uh, sharing by you, that so you are addressed various number of dark areas in this incident analysis, so where you have given us good sharing and good input for us, so that we can it will be helpful for us to do the investigation in a structured way and in a very much useful way, so that it will not repeat again. So I thank you, sir, for spending your time and giving this a wonderful talk to us. And I thank Mr. Nayan Nandakumar sir and Mr. Ramesh sir for giving this platform to share knowledge with to all our HSE professionals with the help of people like you also, sir. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Arvind sir, thank you. Thank you for coming and sharing this wonderful talk with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So our meeting is leaving now. Thank all participants for joining us. Thank you.